Time to play some games. Oh, yeah. What? I have spent my life searching for the answers that my father and my father's fathers failed to find. Who were the precursors? Why did they create the vast monoliths that litter our planet? How did they harness eco, the life energy of the world? What was their purpose? And, hang on! This is the fucking opening monologue to Jak and Daxter, isn't it?
Oh, it's my bad. This is the wrong script. This is the right one.
Yeah, creation, existence, blah blah blah. My main question, were there ever dragons, like, at all?
Really, there's only one way to find out. Well, I can honestly say I don't know what I expected from a Google search like that, but looks like the only dragon we have here is Spyro.
So I've already talked about Spyro the Dragon, why it's a good game, and why it also has small, okay, noticeable issues. Let's look at it this way. Insomniac Games were basically virgins when it came to creating and developing video games. Sure, they made Disruptor. What the hell is Disruptor? Let me take a quick look. Oh, I see. It's a Doom clone. And a Dark Forces clone.
But the point I'm attempting and succeeding in making is that Insomniac made some rookie mistakes in the first Spyro, some bigger than others. But with every mistake, they corrected in Spyro 2. It's called Ripto's Rage. Or Gateway to Glimmer. Matters on where you live. I like Gateway to Glimmer more, but let's move on.
Wow, what an idiot!
Ow! Jesus Christ, Puppets, what the hell's the matter with you?
Oh, I'm just fine, Cal. In fact, you're getting so close to reviewing Enter the Dragonfly. So in that case, I've never been better.
So, as any good sequel should, Spyro 2 picks up presumably a little while after the first game, being that Spyro says,
Dragon Shores! Yeah, I haven't been there since we kicked Nasty Nork's butt.
So yeah, Spyro and Sparks are in need of a vacation and set out for Dragon Shores. However, in the world of Avalar, 3 new characters, the Professor, Elora, and Hunter, are attempting to bring a dragon through their portal. Understandably, Hunter's very reluctant to meet a dragon since
they have claws like this, teeth like this, and they spit fire like this.
Wow, that is a good description of dragons. But you know...
It's working!
Oh, right, the plot.
So yeah, the 3 succeed in bringing a dragon, Spyro, through the portal. Sparks is there too. Goddamn third wheel.
You're a dragon?
You got a problem with that, pussy?
Wow, Spyro isn't even in Avalar for, what, 10 seconds? And he starts throwing insults around? Savage.
And then the portal gets blown up and we meet the game's villain Ripto, along with 2 other Riptocs crushing gold.
A dragon? You brought a dragon to Avalar? I hate dragons! Gah!
Damn it, didn't you guys know that he hates dragons? Inconsiderate.
But things get worse for Ripto, since not only is there a dragon right in front of him, but he also gets bitch slapped by Crush and gulp swallows his magic scepter. Elora then gives Spyro a guidebook instructing him to collect talismans from all around Avalar, and then the game begins. And right off the bat, you can see the improvements that this game has over its predecessor, just by, you know, looking at the screen. There was a major graphical engine overhaul, and I'm serious when I say that this is one of, if not the best looking PS1 games on the system. Everything is just symmetrical and pleasing to the eye. Spyro no longer looks like a misshapen sock puppet, and look at all of the pretty colors. Speaking of Spyro, do you hear that? Come here, listen for a bit. Oh, that's right, he doesn't sound like a bratty 10-year-old anymore.
Yes, anyone that is in fact not deaf and has 2 ears can realize that that's Tom Kenny. Pretty crazy times we live in. We got SpongeBob voicing Spyro.
In fact, not only has Spyro's voice and the game's graphics been improved upon, but the controls are tight!
And no, I'm not gonna make a sexual joke here. But remember this. Sure, sometimes the gliding mechanic is hit and miss, which was luckily fixed in Spyro 2. Wow, my voice was pretty high right there. But they did correct that in this game.
Well, we're going to talk about that now, among other things. First of all, Spyro's movement has been fixed to prevent the slight floatiness that was present in the first game. Yeah, it isn't very prominent, but turning with Spyro in the first game always felt a little bit awkward. But here, I have no complaints. Spyro moves when I want him to, if I want him to. And about that gliding mechanic that I mentioned earlier, yeah, that was greatly fixed too. You see, there was this problem when it came to Spyro the Dragon's platforming. Basically, if you didn't time your jump perfectly, I'm talking about doing all the math and calculations, Spyro would always end up hitting the edge of whatever platform you're trying to reach. In Spyro 2, however, if this happens, the only person to blame is yourself. You see, in Spyro 2, if you press the triangle button while gliding, Spyro will do a quick hover, not only providing you with more hang time, but also boosting you up in the air a bit. This comes in greatly when trying to reach platforms, and is such a welcome addition that I'd honestly hate to see how certain levels would function without the implementation. But hey, Spyro could do much more than just hovering now. He can swim, traverse ladders, and even do a head bash. Granted, these abilities are unlocked during the course of the game, but they still need a mention.
But how do you unlock such awesome abilities? Easy.
By paying a small fee.
I love Moneybags. Not only is he a bear, which are awesome animals, not only is he a con man, which is illegal, and not only is he British, which is pretty cool, but he also plays Spyro like a fiddle. And I don't know if you've noticed, but Spyro's a dragon, and I'm pretty sure that nobody gets away with swindling a dragon. Except for Moneybags. And not only that, but he insults him in the process. However, when you're not being hustled by Moneybags, you're either exploring levels or fighting enemies. Combat here remains the same as before. Charge the small guys, flame the big guys. And I gotta say, this works and definitely sticks by the if it isn't broke then don't fix it way of thinking. In regards to enemies, something worth mentioning is that there isn't one type of enemy throughout the game, meaning that each level has its own enemy types, keeping things fresh and new.
And hey, check it out, it's Ratchet and Clank! I'm serious. You can even look it up. And whoa, they could never get away with putting something like that in a game now.
In fact, enemies don't even drop gems anymore. Whenever enemies are killed in Spyro 2, they release these soul things which activate power-up gates. Levels themselves are on a grander scale as well, being much bigger than the ones found in the previous game. Some of the levels last even longer than 10 minutes, and each level is unique in its own way. The coolest part, however, has to be how a majority of the levels include two factions fighting each other. One level can have you aiding a certain group, while another can have you aiding the opposing group from before. That's definitely something the first Spyro lacked. Levels just had no story about them, and felt like they were only there to be explored, which isn't a bad thing, but just looking at it from here, adding a plot to the level makes a huge difference. Speedways even make a return, housing the traditional challenge of clearing out objectives while under a time limit. The difference here is that there are now secret objectives that include various tasks for Spyro to do, such as flying through rings or shooting down balloons, or just random stuff like that. Overall, they're great fun. Homeworlds return, this time being based around times of the year, such as summer forest, autumn plains, and winter tundra. I don't know why there's no springtime homeworld, but really it's no big deal. In the same Spyro fashion, gameplay is mostly centered around collecting objects to progress throughout the game. Gems make a return, acting as currency this time around. Then there's two new collectibles, talismans and orbs. You get a talisman at the end of every level, and they're probably the easiest item to collect, while orbs on the other hand are gained from doing mini-quests, and are even sometimes found hidden around homeworlds. The previously mentioned mini-quests are basically mini-games that are activated by talking to characters. There's a variety of these, such as chasing evil spirits, playing hockey, protecting a decrepit old man from enemies, and even shooting down UFOs. Collecting all items grants you an infinite Super Flame power-up when you finally reach Dragon Shores, but sadly, I don't think it's worth going through all of the trouble to collect everything just for a never-ending Super Flame power-up. Sure, it never runs out, but if I beat Spyro 2 and ever feel like playing it again, I'm just gonna start a new save file, completely defeating the purpose of replaying levels with the Super Flame power-up that to be unlocked requires every collectible to be collected. See what I'm saying? There's really no incentive to replay levels unless you want to hear music or something like that. And before I forget to mention, the music in this game is badass. I used to think that the first Spyro game had the best music, but I've changed my mind. Stuart Copeland kicked things into third gear when composing the music for Spyro 2. It's probably because the music itself has more atmosphere.
Alright, Stuart, you knocked it out of the park in the last game. Seriously, there's no way that you could have done better. I'm gonna say it right now, you made my penis explode a couple times. I'm serious, I had to go to the doctors. It was amazing. Please, just promise me. Make the soundtrack for Spyro 2 10 times, 100 times better. Just please.
Another step up that Spyro 2 has is its bosses. Sure, there's only 3 of them, but they're still better than all 6 bosses from the first game. This is because not only are they fun bosses to fight and actually feel like bosses, but there's a little something that I like to call build-up. You see, throughout the game, Spyro has multiple run-ins with Ripto and his minions, and each time you encounter them, you want to fight them. This is most prominent with Ripto himself, as it should be. I mean, his name is in the title and he is the main villain. There's lots of great banter between Ripto and Spyro, and they make a really good pair of enemies. And then you finally get to the boss fight, and oh, you are ready to kick some Ripto ass. And the music just adds to the epicosity. And I don't know what the hell anybody is talking about when they say Ripto was hard, because I made that little dinosaur bastard my bitch. And look, he fell in the lava. He's dead. There is no way he's coming back from... what would that be? Fucking 6th degree burns?
So then that just begs the question, why in the flying monkey ass does this monstrosity exist?
Finally, after burning Ripto's midget ass to a crisp, Spyro says goodbye to all of his friends and finally arrives at Dragon Shores, which is sadly a collection of mediocre minigames. Don't even get me started on the roller coaster.
So as we all expected, Spyro 2 is a pretty good game. So much so that it's nearly flawless. However, I do still have a couple of problems that probably won't apply to a lot of other people.
You know, my biggest gripe with Spyro 2 is that I just find it boring. I don't know what it is. I just find it so hard to get into and have fun with. Granted, this isn't a problem throughout the whole game, but it's still a problem that I have. And my last problem is the backtracking. Now, I know it sounds like I'm nitpicking, and I apologize for that, but I hate unnecessary backtracking, which is one of the reasons I don't like Metroid games. Keep in mind, I have this same problem with Spyro 3. So I'm not trying to take a dump on this game whatsoever. And I mean, look at this. The fact that I can do a glitch double jump and bypass certain obstacles like ladders that I need to learn how to climb is hilarious.
But other than all that, Spyro 2 is one of the greatest video game sequels of all time. Right up there with Super Mario 3 and Crash 2. Hang on a minute. I just reviewed Spyro 2. So that means the only game standing between me and Into the Dragonfly is... oh my god. Spyro 3! This is the only game that's between me and the crappy crap that is Enter the Dragonfly. Pumice!